Dakota has been ravaged by floods and fires, and the waters are not expected to begin receding for another 5 days.
Come hell or come high water, come heaven to our homes.
As the weather gets warmer, sheets of ice coating rivers begin to thaw, weaken, and break apart. Chunks of ice then rush downstream where they can jam up, forming...
Sandbaggers heed the call of rising water by rising up themselves, rallying friends, and trying to save the day together. Sandbaggers, like those who arose in response to the Great Flood of 1997 in our home of G-Funk on the Red River Valley of the North, we bring their spirit to the art of science and the craft of communication for the empowerment of the universal human community.
So I don't know how we do that exactly. Coming to things like this and meeting more people that are in this room right now, I guess is one way for us to try.
Today our rising water takes many forms, like the global climate crisis, the failed so-called war on drugs.
All kids make bad decisions. Monitor what they're doing.
And the loss of cultural and natural resources everywhere.
Where your daddy was born, Mom.
Your father, it was the young known that view.
It's quite a view to leave behind.
Sandbagger News are the new sandbaggers on the wall, fulfilling our destiny to uphold the tradition of change that lay before us all. Sandbagger News consists of 3 hoops, or avenues, through which we produce news media and social science research. Each hoop has an editorial team responsible for soliciting projects for our community of freelance designers, scholars, communicators, organizers, and more. The Wildlifer Log chronicles our ongoing coverage of the human-environment relationship. We share stories of science and the management of natural resources.
There's nothing wrong with mining. It's the base load of the economy up here. But you have to have other supplemental economies. It's not just clean energy. I mean, clean energy is just a fraction of it. It's the conservation of energy, the architecture, the windows, the construction of the infrastructure. This is where all the jobs are going to be. I'm talking about real jobs that have a future up here. And all these jobs are skilled training. You don't just get a job anymore out of high school.
The Harm Reduction Report covers issues of public health with compassion and creativity. Here we share stories of substance abuse, stigma, and the often destructive public policies that promote them.
I had no one I could tell. Who else can you tell? Can you really tell your family members or your closest friends that, you've been doing meth? I mean, how can you turn to someone like that? There's such an enormous stigma. Honestly, there's embarrassment, and then there's the risk of being shunned.
The Voyager Post serves the stewards of the global human spirit. Here are stories of culture and the intersecting elements of identity.
You want to say thank you?
Miigwech.
Miigwech.
Oh yeah, miigwech. Not miigwech for
Miigwech.
Miigwech. Thank you.
Our code of ethics is derived from our sandbagging ancestry and the advice of many professional institutions and heroes we admire. Essentially, we seek truth and share it. We serve the public and reduce harm. We are accountable and transparent. This means we're focused and fair in our reporting. We challenge censorship, discrimination, and oppression. We empower democracy. We disclose our financial records. And we account for all conflicts of interests sincerely. Our golden rules are simple: to speak as if being spoken to spread perspective with compassion, and to help others cultivate the dignity of all life. With these guiding principles, we Sandbagger News perform a variety of communication services. We make documentaries about science and society.
A lot of birds nest out in here, and when it gets so thick and matted that they're almost under layers of tall grass. And like you were talking about the western meadowlark, I mean, I'm from Montana, that's our state bird, so it's kind of cool to see how the fire impacts wildlife.
We record small local events and huge international conferences.
We've got a lot of challenges ahead of us. We need to continue to change policy.
Unless we are actively and persistently dismantling these constructs, we are abiding by them.
And that's because we're building a more compassionate and more understanding world, and I truly believe that.
Reach out to these conservative states. We can heal our country again if we have some compassion.
We cover protests, performances, and public gatherings of all kinds.
Hip-hop show, but we about to go rap.
Do you normally ride into your rap shows like a cavalry warrior?
Yeah, but usually I'm wearing a headdress while I do it.
Reporting live from the Standing Rock Reds, Dakota warriors about to cut the snake's head off with its head, off with its head. No Dakota access, this is all for the kids.
We make music videos and organize arts festivals.
History. There's only circumstances.
We help host deliberative events to address wicked community problems.
Number one, be honest and respectful. That is pretty easy, right? Just talk about what you want to talk about, but respect other people's point of views. It's okay to disagree. Do so with curiosity and not hostility. That might be a tough one sometimes. That's when the facilitator might have to step in, but recognizing it's okay to disagree with one another, we should. Because if we all agree, what's the point of having a conversation like this?
We raise funds to perform and communicate scientific research.
Getting ready here to go up to Churchill, and I can't begin to thank you guys enough.
Thanks to your donations, I was able to purchase a brand new solar panel that allows us to monitor wildlife and keep all of our equipment charged and running throughout the summer.
You can check out our fundraising page to see a video we made of last year's work up in Churchill. Jeez, we leave in a week. I gotta start packing.
We make daily expedition videos for scientific explorers in the Arctic.
Yeah, we'll here day 1, March 20th. I got a late start at Stony Rapids. I had a real dangerous encounter today with a Barrenlands grizzly bear. And this time it was pretty close. It was about less than 40 yards, and it was the biggest grizzly I've ever seen. But anyways, this was just one of the daily events here.
We develop educational workshops for kids and citizen scientists.
Undo the clamp and let about 20 milliliters of water through. If the tube gets pinched, use your fingers to gently prod it open. But remember, there are nematodes there and you don't want to squish anybody.
We design animated graphics and websites. And we host a weekly radio show for audiences back home in the Red River Valley about drugs and stigma.
I wish you were here.
Even a human just sitting for 7 hours needs water, let alone dancing, consuming different substances.
John Perry Barlow's spirit that I admired. And this is the reason. And perhaps that may have been that first seed of radicalization. And when they saw the world, that when they saw the system, when they saw how much control they had and how little we had, they said, well, what are you going to do about it?
And once I got you as an informant, it could be a witch hunt. And then if you talk about racists, like bigots with badges or something like that, you really got issues. That's all I'm saying.
Soon, we Sandbagger News will do more. As we deepen our roster of Sandbaggers on the wall, our work will expand to include more original research, further combining our passions for science, communication, and community. We Sandbagger News act together to uphold a sacred tradition of change. We will not sit idly by while our neighbors or environment suffer, nor will we blame the rising water for any unnatural evil-doing. Indeed, without it, we Sandbaggers would not exist at all. We owe it everything: our space, our time, our purpose. That's why we Sandbaggers vow to react to crisis with grace, to disaster with peace, and to hate with sincerity and love. For the sakes of future generations, we proudly take our turn on the sandbag wall. All are welcome to join us, to see how it feels to build a community and achieve something together that would be impossible alone.
And in about 45 seconds where you see that Hummer pushing through the water, it was about 6 inches to a foot deep, and now it's about Waist level.
I'm 88 years old, so I'm a little too old to get shook up over this.
We've all been spread to the four winds. It's about what's left of the community. And besides that, this is a hell of a story, and we're journalists.
From all of us in the Sandbagger newsroom, we wish you a wonderful night. Miigwech isness. Sandbag on.